Okay, hi there guys. Welcome to another VB.NET tutorial. In this tutorial I'm answering a question regarding how to draw items but not exceeding what's available. Okay, so by the way, I'm recording this for the second time. I recorded it the first time and the audio was so horrible, so hopefully this time it's a little bit better. Okay, so let me show you first the database. Okay, so we have this simple database, and I will have to wait for a while. Okay, so we have this products table, just for example. We have a product ID, primary key, product name, and product count, which is the number of items. So far, so good. Now, what you want to do is that when you draw, for example, uh, ask the user to draw a number of items from the warehouse. Let's say he tries to draw 11. The system should prevent him from doing that. Or he tries to draw 10 pens. We don't have 10 pens, so in that case, the system should also tell him that you don't have 10 pens. Okay, so the idea is simple. Now the question is, how do you do that? There are a number of ways. Simplest way is to put validation in your program. Another method is to do a check in the database. Uh, okay, there is a check constraint in some database management systems. Access doesn't support that, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. The last method is to modify the SQL statement that performs the draw operation and check the results of it. We will see the first and last method. How do they work? Okay, so I will close this and go to our project. So we have this simple project. Okay, let me open the form. Okay, now here I I put a data grid view linking it to the product table and put two buttons, one that performs validation using the program and one that performs validation using the database. Again, I'm not using the check option here, so don't be confused. There's another method for validation, that's the check option. Okay, so before we go into that, obviously we have a data set. So I created a data set. Uh, I assume you already know how to create a data set. It's very straightforward the process. However, uh, I did a simple modification. I put a query here for drawing items. I will get into that when I uh, later on in the video. So let's start with the first method. So what happens when you say validate by program? Maybe I should run the program and show you the demo. Okay, so here I'm running it. So I must select the row. I say validate. So how many items should I draw? Let's say I should draw 8 and press OK. And as a result, 2 are remaining. So now I click again and to draw. I'll try to draw 9 and hit OK and not enough items. So this one works. Another method is to draw here. I'll say draw 1 and hit enter. It's working. And click this one again. I'll draw 3 and you don't have enough items. As you can see, both techniques work, but the internal details are a bit different. So let's go to the first one, see how it's being written. So for the first one, validate by program, how does it work? Here, the first thing we are doing is getting the number of items. Very straightforward. You just call the input box in order to get the number of items. The second one, the second statement, we are getting the product ID from the data grid view. Why we need the product ID? Because it's the primary key. It can tell us which item is being updated. Okay, we will need the product name and the available items. Okay, uh, we need the product name because of the SQL statement, and we need the available items in order to check on that. So as soon as we get the available items, we will check the available items against the number of items to be drawn. Now, if the available items is less than what we want to draw, of course, there is an error. So as you can see, this validation process is happening here in the program, not in the database. And as a result, you get a message box. Now, you might get a problem, okay, if you are running multiple instances of the same application. So let's say the first program tries to draw 10 items, or let's say 7 items here, and it will check, it will find available items 10, which is greater than 7, so it will reach this point. Before it can start executing the update command, another program will check here. So also let's assume he's trying to draw, let's say 9 this time. So 10 is larger than 9, of course, so this one will not get executed and both the programs will reach this point. So one of the programs will try to draw 7 and the other will try to draw 9, resulting in 16, drawing 16 items. So you will get error, okay? Why? Because we didn't lock the table. Here we are having concurrency issue and race condition, okay? This is a race condition in this case, okay? So this technique, it's very easy, but it is not safe. It's only safe in one case only, if you can guarantee that a single user, only a single user, will be accessing the database. Okay? So this is the first technique. The second technique is much safer. So how does it work? So basically, we get the number of items, the product ID, and we call the draw items method. We pass it the number of items to draw and the product ID. And if there is enough items, it will return value other than 0. It will perform the update and return value other than 0. Otherwise, it will give us an error, as we can see. Now, the problem is, or the question is, how do you create this draw items method? Well, if you remember the data sets, and well, you remember that we can create queries. So this is actually a query, but what's important is the way you design the query. Well, you design it like this. I'm going to show it to you here. Okay, where's the command text? Importance command text. There you go. Come on. Okay, good. So, what does it say? So, update the products. So far, so good. Set the product count equal product count minus colon draw. So this is a variable. It is called DRW, represent the items to be drawn. Now, the where condition is important, where product ID equal. Now, if you stop at from here to here, you will always draw from the available items. But if you, for example, have one item and you want to draw 10, this will execute all the time. Okay, so you will get -9, and then you will get, let's say, someone draws 2, so -11, and so on. Because of that, you need to put another condition, and okay, a product count is greater than or equal to draw, so the number of items to be drawn. Okay, so these two, this condition is very important. This is what does the trick for us. Now, before I continue explaining things, let me just address how you set the parameters. So after you write this one, you need to set the parameters. So the way you do it, you come here in the parameters part, you click on this ellipse, and you actually add, okay, maybe you didn't see variables in your case. I will repeat the steps here, but you press add and you give a name for the variable and so on. So I'll remove this and make the way it was. Okay. Okay, so now what's the trick about this one? Well, when this statement get executed, okay, well, two things happen. If the condition, let me show you the SQL statement again. Sorry. Now, if this condition gets satisfied, then the row for that project will get updated and the function will return the number of rows being updated, which is 1. If this condition is not satisfied, for example, someone else tried to draw items and did the drawing before you do, in that case the number of rows being updated will be 0. Okay, so this way you can make sure uh, that you don't perform wrong drawing operation. Or yeah, so if we look at the code again, let's have a look here. So if product table adapters draw items, if you try to draw items and the result is 0, which means no row is being updated, which means you cannot draw items. So you get the message you don't have enough items. It's as simple as that. Okay. One last thing here, which is okay, I am just gonna demonstrate how you create this function again in case you get confused or someone forgot how to do it. It's very easy, very straightforward. So you get into this one here on the table adapter. Just try to click on that. Okay, select add a query, and you are gonna use an SQL statement. You are gonna say next, and you are gonna select update. You want to update, so you are gonna say next again. So it will give you this statement. Now you remove and keep what is necessary for your work. So what you want to do when you update is what? You want to you don't want to update the product ID or the product name. You just want to update the product count. So basically this is the product count. It's this minus, in this case I will make it exactly like the previous one, colon DRW. Okay. Now where? So product ID equal colon ID. There you go. And our special condition, it is this guy. This guy is what is greater than or equal colon DRW. So you can see it's very easy, very straightforward. Now I can say next. You will give it a name, so I can say test, for example, this time. Next, and I would say finish. But your work is not finished here, because if you have a look, you'll find that you're being asked to provide a product ID, product name, product count, etc. But the function itself has only two variables, the ID and the draw. So you will have to go to the parameters section there and click the ellipse, and we will remove all of this. So we will add the first variable, and this is gonna be ID. Okay, let's add the other one, which is gonna be DRW. Okay, and I'm gonna say okay. So now you can see this. The first one is ID, second one DRW, no problem. And I'm gonna build this project. Good. And now I will go to this one, and instead of this I will say move this, I will say test. The first parameter is the ID. Go over here and let us try and see if this one works. So I'll run, click here. I'm gonna say draw, let's say 8, and enter. And missing item or something, product ID, product count, product equal colon. Okay, I think I've done something wrong. Wait. Okay, so continuing the recording. Okay, seems that I made some kind of mistake, so let me go back to the data set and check uh, the SQL here. In this case, let me go to the test. Sorry about the error. Oh, so two brackets, close one here, open one, close one bracket is missing. And okay, and now I'll have to build this again, build the solution. Good, and now we will run. Okay, no, that's not parameters, return type. What is it? Oh, check this. It just removed the parameters. Visual Studio is okay. I just fixed the SQL and it changed the parameters. Okay, so we have ID, and the second one is GRW. Okay, and hit OK. So we have two, and I'm gonna build this one. Okay, good. And now I'm gonna run, and hopefully it will work now. Let's see, 8, and you don't have enough items. So what seems to be that I've missed here is this. Uh, the reason this one didn't work well is the order of the parameters. So basically in the SQL, GRW appears before ID, so for this reason I have to put GRW first. Let me check something here. DB type, direction, position, column 1. Okay, so I'll just put this one here in advance and say OK. I will build the solution, and I will have to go to the form and update the code. Sorry about this error. Hopefully you guys didn't get confused by this. Okay, so the reason for this error is in the SQL command grw appear first, and then the ID is being used second. So the variables need to be, you know. Okay, so this is the reason. Kind of stupid, but anyway. I will click here, validate by database, give it an 8, enter, and it's working. Okay, so that will be all. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll find this useful. Check out the website. I put the code there. Okay, if you want to see the code, it's available for download. That's all. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.